Hello, one, hello, all. Welcome to a rear end edition of Embalming Hour. It's just me today. It's just me. I'm joined with Emily from Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. Emily, say hello.
Hello. I did it right this time.
What was that? I'm sorry, I heard me in the background.
I did it right this time is all. I fucked it up before.
Saying hello. Yeah, so today we're just gonna try to focus strictly on one topic that may get horribly broken somewhere down the middle, but we both saw Get Out fairly recently. And it's made a lot of waves in America, made a lot of money in America, and it's not that I don't understand why. I guess I don't know. Well, how do you feel about Get Out?
Well, I went into it kind of blind, not knowing what to expect, and I very deliberately did not watch the trailers or see the reviews. It was just the only horror thing that was in the cinema at the time. My dad said, "Hey, let's go watch something." So we walked in, and I knew it was something to do with this guy, Chris Washington, who's going to see his girlfriend. The family doesn't know that he's black, kind of thing. That's all I knew. So I think I was quite pleasantly surprised by what I saw.
Yeah. Well, I guess going in dark, that no pun intended, would probably be better. Well, I guess being from England, how does American social setting play? Like does please read my mind. Well,
I mean, it seemed pretty legit. I wouldn't know, to be honest, but
yeah. So can you relate to? Well, not relate to, but does it have a certain amount of weight to it? Because you guys don't have that type of issue with race, or do you?
well, again, I can't speak from personal experience, but I wouldn't have thought that. Again, I think the racial paranoia that our main character feels is kind of possibly justified, but especially with what he experiences. But I don't know. I don't think interracial relationships are such a big deal anymore. So
you would think, and that's where your Britanism comes through. You should spend some time in Alabama.
Your different experience then.
Yeah, every racial relationship, yep, I've been a nun. Nope, I have no experience. So something that I haven't seen a lot of, but came up a couple of times, was how incredibly fresh Get Out was, and that's where I kind of stick my nose up and say, no, just no. If anything, I feel like above anything else, it's heavily influenced by stuff that we've seen before.
Well, definitely, yeah.
In your review, you brought up the Stepford Wives. I would even venture to say that it's kind of a Stepford Wives and Guess Who's Coming to Dinner in a blender type deal.
I think the director Jordan Peele said he was kind of influenced by Rosemary's Baby as well, was another one. Again,
Really?
for similar reasons, like the whole gender thing, similar thing as with the Stepford Wives, this paranoia about one's existence. Yeah.
So do you agree that the film is fresh, new?
It seems so to me, primarily because I'm used to new releases along the lines of The Conjuring and Annabelle and jump scare fests, whereas this was pegged as really a social horror, which I'm sure we'll go into later. But
sure. Well, we watched Guess Who's Coming to Dinner fairly recently.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you feel this way, but I felt like literally the first act could have been the same first 20 minutes, like literally I mean, almost down to some of the actual dialogue is literally the same stuff. Prepare yourself, you're going to meet my parents, you know, the same type of pep talk.
Mm-hmm.
Horror Hellion 311, I just watched it last night. I like it, but it went really quick for me. Jordan Peele definitely did a good job for his first feature film. Yeah, for a first director, I think that it's quite impressive. And knowing his comedy background, he's a very funny dude. It's certainly impressive. Thank you, Horror Hellion. Yeah, so back to the originality, or I would say lack thereof.
I suppose it's not truly original in the grand scheme of things. We have seen this sort of thing before.
Mm-hmm.
Just in terms of the horror I'm used to seeing in cinemas these days, it was, well, not refreshingly different, but it was something different anyway.
Right. Well, I mean, you brought up some of the newer stuff as leaning on jump scares. Well, I would have thought that there was stuff like that in Get Out that was unnecessary, like
well, there was.
Right, like
There were a few.
the running where the guy just takes a quick right angled turn. There's a scene where the guy's going to smoke, and then somebody walks, in a doorway down the hall or whatever. Does that? I don't know.
In the case of the running man, I mean, we do see him from a distance before he comes right up to our character, and then, as you say, takes a sharp turn. I think the music kind of helped with that. It was underpinning the whole, oh, here the guy comes, oh,
right,
that whole sequence. Right. So it wasn't the jumpiest, but I kind of see that.
The music implied a bunch of here it's coming. Oh,
I thought the trailer was because I watched it afterwards. I thought it implied a lot more jumpiness than that there actually was. Like the whole deer skeleton thing. What the hell was that? They never used that in the movie.
I don't know
why they used it in the trailer. No?
No.
In the trailer, you see this skeleton of a deer that just goes blah at Chris for no discernible reason.
I need to watch it now. I don't know what you're talking about. That's incredible. That's incredible. Sorry. That's a Clue quote. Sorry. Oh no, she says this is incredible. That's Mrs.
Oh, so she does.
So the common I don't want to call it misconception.
It's misconception.
Excuse me, misconception. So I don't know. I feel like all right, so you take these jump scare moments out of the movie. I don't think, well, first of all, I don't think you can call it a horror to begin with. And if you take those jump scare moments out, I don't think this movie should be categorized as a horror at all. Maybe not even thriller, like a really fucked up social drama. How do you feel about that bold opinion of mine?
I feel like a lot of the moments that felt horrifying for me, I'm assuming the people that are watching this know the ins and outs of the film.
Yeah.
Can we go into spoiler territory?
Here's official spoiler alert. Like, really, yeah, we're gonna destroy this movie. So if you haven't, I'm gonna request that you do spoilers. So you have to do one of these now too.
Okay. Well, a lot of it was sort of the stuff that got me was the whole sunken place thing. The idea of being trapped in one's own head. and that's not necessarily jump scary, and it's not something very realistic either. I think that is. Oh, bugger, hold on. I'm trying to get the YouTube thing up so I can see the chat.
Oh, okay.
There it is.
There's only
Hello,
one.
Horror Hellion.
Yeah. Are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to? Are you done with your statement? Because
so that's the that's where the terror lies, isn't it? The idea of being trapped, as it were, of not having control, which is the sort of theme of the whole movie, of being in a vulnerable situation, and that just culminates in that moment when he is told, "This is going to be your life."
I need to stress before I go any further that I actually quite enjoy the movie.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it being categorized as a horror movie. So that I'm being a little hard on it because of what a person who would normally watch a romantic comedy thinks this is. So all that being said, I find it really hard to buy into the fact that everything about this movie is relying on the fact that he's going to sit down in front of her mother with the teacup in her hand, and be willing to want to quit smoking, or I mean, that was the pretense of her hypnosis. But I mean, that's quite a ledge to get out on.
I mean, he doesn't go into it entirely willingly, does he?
Yeah. See, I don't remember how he I remember he goes out for a cigarette.
And then he is cornered by Missy, and she's like, "Do you smoke in front of my daughter?" And I think the hypnosis begins without him really realizing.
Huh.
The whole spoon cup thing is the is the trigger, but he doesn't know that until it's been happening for a while. So there's some chicanery going on.
Yeah, I guess
I see what you mean. There's more. It's more social than horror in that sense.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess I don't know if I call it a plot hole or suspension of disbelief. Knowing that they're bringing people like this guy into their house to fucking do their magic shit. Go ahead.
They cannot possibly all have something to exploit.
Right, exactly.
I suppose Rose would have to be very skilled at finding out their insecurities beforehand.
And some people aren't susceptible to hypnosis. So
that is true.
What the fuck if he's if he can't do it, then what?
Then that's embarrassing, and they have to, I don't know. Right. Rose has to let him down gently a few days later, and they're just all glaring at each other over their roast beef over the weekend. Didn't fucking work.
I can't. Yeah, because we find out that Rose, is that her name?
The girlfriend. Yeah.
See, you remember a lot more than I do. I just faces and names. We find out that she's got a little shoebox full of old photos, and
which is convenient.
Right. Yes, convenient is a very, very good word. So they've been doing it quite a bit, or she's been doing it quite a bit. So in defense of the racial elements of the film, how do I say this delicately? The fact that the family is using their daughter as this bridge person to all these people, I don't know. She Fuck. I don't have a complete thought.
She's an interesting character. She is such a robotic, creepy sort of human being that it makes you wonder how she could convincingly pull off a normal, affable, I want to make this woman my girlfriend sort of person.
Right. Well, so you brought up in your review the scene where they hit the deer. And,
oh yeah.
And the cop, and remember this guy's face because you'll never see him again.
Yeah, the cops are all useless in this film. That was another horror trope I picked up on fairly quickly.
Is that scene at all necessary?
I don't think so, apart from maybe hinting at the fact that, you know, we don't like your kind around these parts, that whole vibe they were trying to give off at the beginning. Because we as the audience don't really know. Maybe, I don't know, the whole town's in on whatever this is. But again, we never see him, so yeah.
Right. Well, and it goes back to Rose. She really oversells the, you know, defensive girlfriend bit. If this cop guy is somebody that's, you know, that's not in on it,
then all she's doing really is arousing suspicion.
Right. See, I'm sorry. It seems like I'm trying to just dig a hole for this movie, and I'm not. I'm just there's things that just don't make sense.
We're allowed to be critical of the plot.
No, we're not.
Oh shit.
No, yeah. It's. I guess I'd like it to be a little bit more solid, and when I think about it, it's not that solid, and again, like hearing things like it's original, I don't think it's original, like at all, at all.
Talking about the Stepford Wives earlier, I was thinking about that, and this is not something that whole town is in on. It seems to be just the men's association and their wives, and like we meet an elderly woman who said, well, there used to be women's lib in this town. We don't know what happened to it. Clearly she's not had the treatment. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah. What do you think? So Georgina, right? Is that the name of the housemaid?
Yes, that's her.
So the procedure that is performed at the end is basically swapping out of brains, if I'm not mistaken, right? So I mean, Georgina, the guy who says get out, the really awkwardly dressed
Logan King, aka Andre,
right? Yes. If they don't have their brains, what are they what are they remembering?
How did they describe it? I think they're allowed to keep at least part of their brains. I don't know exactly how much of one's brain you could afford to lose and still function.
The part that has a little bit of free will and enough to force a tear out.
Yes, that much. No. Exactly that much.
No more, no less.
And the hypnosis is supposed to help suppress that part of the brain anyway. So it seems to be a combo of hypnosis and let's scoop out half your brain and insert half of somebody else's. Where were we going with this?
I don't know. I'm just trying to hammer the movie away, I think, and I really don't.
Stupid movie, shouldn't have been made.
Yeah, fucking. Why are we even talking?
Yeah.
So there's a scene where, what the fuck's the main character's name?
Chris.
Yes, Chris, Andre, Rose. So Chris, he feels a bit weird, and he meets this blind gentleman, and kind of, I don't know, confides in him, trusts him.
Yeah, they have a talk. He's the only person so far who hasn't mentioned, you know, the fact that he's a black guy. They talk quite reasonably about photography, art.
Yeah, and he said that he's followed his work or he's aware of his work, or something along those lines.
Yeah. He likes the look of his work, he's heard.
Right. Is that do you think he's a case of red herring?
Well, not exactly, given that we find out, I don't know, we assume that he's an ally at first, and then turns out, no, quite the opposite.
Yeah. It's well, all right. So
I feel like if I was smarter, I would have seen that coming, but I didn't.
Well, I mean, you can kind of say that for everybody, though. Well, maybe not everybody. Like the brother is just over dickish. I
forgot all about him. Yeah.
At the dinner table, asking him about if he's into MMA, which
I wasn't quite sure what purpose he served apart from being the guy with the crochet mallet, or what was it? Some kind of sporting equipment.
Well, see, the one thing I've kind of got what before the movie was even over was perhaps he was he was kind of the bad cop, so to speak, good cop, bad cop, and he was trying to figure out just how strong.
Physically speaking?
Yeah, because if you remember at the dinner table, he kind of asks him,
challenges into a wrestle or something.
Right,
yeah, I remember.
Right. And so in their slave trader ways, figure out just what qualities this young man has.
Very sneaky.
Or you think I'm just?
And I guess he makes the rest of the family look halfway decent by extension, I suppose.
Yeah. And kind of killing two birds with one stone too, because if God forbid the guy took him up on it, at least he could figure out, all right, it's a strong guy. We can get more. I don't even know what they were bidding when they had their little silent auction thing.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how that worked.
And
who has number 10,000?
Right, exactly. Right, yeah.
Well, we never hear it, so we don't know.
Yeah, it's a silent auction. So the big, just overflowing, oozing topic of this film is race and race relations and running everything that has to do with race. Did it have to be? So do you think the film works more using race, or?
I think the director, it was something he felt, pretty strongly about, although he steered fairly clear of making it absolutely autobiographical. Autobiographical, or a word like that. But like we've discussed, it could be an inversion of the whole gender thing of earlier movies. It seems to be the same sort of thing.
Right. If they do the same thing with women, does it work as well? I mean, I think if this movie comes out 6 years ago, it's not that big a deal. The landscape in America as we speak is quite divided, and as an American, there's two sides to look at this. The main race story, and it's certainly fitting in the current climate in America. However, let's see. I guess
I'm sure you're all aware of your own history.
Sure. Some might be a little ignorant to some parts, but
well, perhaps. I don't.
See, I guess I feel like what with the cop thing, especially, they had a real chance to kind of really put the horror.
I think this is how the film was originally going to end. Remember right at the end when the car draws up and Chris is seen trying to choke Rose to death.
Right.
I think the original ending was going to go with, you know, Chris getting arrested for this and just driving home the point of, you know, the realities of living in America today, this whole thing. But I think with certain news stories coming out in recent years, they decided to go with the happy ending angle.
Right. I feel like if they did the Night of the Living Dead type ending,
yeah,
that would have been a real hammer to the nail. I don't know. Euphemism here. Insert. Yeah. So,
you think the film would have been stronger if they went with the original ending?
I think it would have hit a harder chord. Well, with that ending, and again that
it's tricky because sorry.
Go ahead. No, it's tricky because hey, Dino.
I feel like the rest of the film is so outrageous and over the top with brains being swapped that had they gone with the bam hard-hitting reality type ending, it might have felt a little jarring, or
really,
you know, just snap back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. It might have been difficult for audiences to make the swap over. I'm not sure.
Okay. All right.
But I interrupted you. What were you saying?
Fuck it, it's gone. So you said audiences, but how would you have felt if that was the ending? If they went with the original, oh wow, shucks ending.
I have to admit, when I saw the police car draw up, I felt that twang of dread that was going to happen.
As did I.
But relief when the friend turned up, and thank God for the TSA.
See, and I guess I just keep going back to that cop scene. I think if they did more with it, again, especially considering the current climate in America. Granted, some people might be turned off by that because, you know, somebody's cousin's a cop and blah blah blah. But it is fiction after all. However influenced. I feel like yes, it was a fucked up scene that let you know that this, you know, something's not right in this town. But like you brought up in your review, we never see this cop again. So if there's nothing to lose with this guy, why not set the tone like really, really hard?
They kind of hinted at it as well when the friend of Chris, I think his name is Rod, goes to his own set of police to talk about Andre who's gone missing and his friend, and how there could be a dangerous situation if they just look into it a bit like he has done. And they brush him off almost immediately. Like, never mind the fact that, I don't know, he seems to have some solid evidence. Granted, he's a comic relief character, so maybe he has that going against him. But he's a smart guy. And if they looked into it, I'm sure they could have figured it out. It's not like they're a gang of white guys just brushing him off either. These are men and women of color as well. So this seems to be more of a jab at the police as a whole, which again was hinted at the beginning. There's a bit more of it here. So maybe you're right. Maybe they should have gone further with it.
Yeah, I mean, again, especially setting up the tone of the area where they were, this foreign land. Dino says, "Hey, CP and Emily, what's up? Is my chat not working?"
Oh, hey, yo, late harsha.
Dino. It's Dino. As much as he likes to call me Will I Like It Reviews, he now knows that I'm CP, so
oh, cool.
I must call him Dino. No, we're good. We're just talking about Get Out rather extensively, Dino. I don't know if you've seen it. I guess it is. Yes, it is working. But hey, thanks for joining us. I don't know if you've seen it. Lindsay's into. Didn't get enough of the live stream earlier. No, Lindsay, this was planned. What, yesterday? Emily? Yeah. So
but we had other engagements and things.
Yeah, and I got out of that engagement. Still waiting on my divorce. But yeah, no, this was predetermined. What was I saying? Cops, so racial setting. Anything else to add, Emily, about the just oozing racial tension and everything in the movie?
Well, there was the more obvious forms of it, like that first police officer, but then in subsequent scenes we see more positive discrimination aimed towards Chris, which I think makes it harder for him to object. Like, obviously this is a nice family and they mean well, it's just awkward for him and he can't quite express himself. So I thought that was interesting. More subtle.
How important was him being a photographer to you?
Well, it makes it pretty stupid that Rose even brought him back when that's how these people get unhypnotized.
Oh,
that seems like an oversight on her part.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't the camera. It was like I thought it wasn't the flash.
Yeah, I mean, I can't remember if he brought his equipment with him, but he certainly had his phone, which Georgina tried to unplug several times.
Oh, right. And that was, see, Patrick Holmes says, what about Rachel? Lindsay says, I kid. Lindsay, you don't have to tell me about jokes. Trust me. Yeah, Lindsay, get out of here. We're spoiling the fuck out of this, but thanks for joining us. Patrick says, what about racial tones? Patrick, we're talking about Get Out. Again, spoilers. Here's your warning. Bye. Come back. Watch it again later if you haven't seen it. But Patrick, you're black. If you've seen it, please let me know what about the film seemed a bit off, a bit too much, a bit on the nose. Obviously, both of us can't speak on any level of that.
No.
Especially not you. I mean, in England, we
I'm not
lost
one.
But yeah, what was I saying? Oh, the camera. I think something that helped the unsettling factor was that Georgina was the one who was unplugging the phone, where they set the, there's this precedent set that, these white people are fucked up, but
yeah,
what's the wait? All right, so Georgina's not white. Why is she fucking with his shit?
Well, exactly. I think that's one of the things that makes him the most unsettled. Like he feels like these people should not be nearly as happy and complicit as they ought to be, which I think is his first clue that something's really not quite right. And we have the whole nearly crying scene, which was one of my favorites. Again, I don't know quite how that happened. If she wasn't
when she sheds a tear.
Yes, the tear.
Yeah, exactly. I get confused with some elements of how people break through.
I mean, she was one of the first. Maybe they hadn't quite perfected the technique yet. You could argue, remember?
Sure. Does that sound good? Does it work? Patrick says, "I've been stopped." LOL. I've been stopped by cops before. Well, I've been stopped by cops before. Is it a troubling situation? Well, if you haven't seen the movie, Patrick, it's really kind of hard to relate some I mean, I don't mean relate. What was the word I'm looking for? I don't know. If you have see the movie, Patrick. There are ways to see it right now. Is all I'll say.
Yar.
Yar. So with again, I wouldn't call it a horror film. I would call it a social drama thriller of sorts.
I think comedy is used pretty.
You say comedy?
Well. Oh, it has comedic elements in this, doesn't it?
You're right. You're right. You're right. I jumped the gun. I heard comedy. I was like, wait, what? Right. You're right. Yes.
Your ears snapped up. Comedy. That's my thing.
No. Touche. The TSA guy was certainly a welcome experience.
He seemed to be saying what a lot of audience members were thinking, and he definitely got the most laughs in the theater when I went.
Yeah. Likewise. Do you because the film's considered a success by tenfold, I think. Do you well, I mean, it's going to happen whether or not we think it, but do you think there are going to be other types of social thrillers, and how would you want and or expect further social thrillers to come about?
Well, I don't know if this movie in particular is ripe for franchisement, if that's what you mean. In terms of what other things could be exploited in terms of social horror situations.
Right. So to give you an example, a movie like The Guest, have you seen that?
No, afraid not.
Have you seen It Follows?
Some, yeah.
Okay, so It Follows was fairly successful and influenced similar types of films. Not It Follows 2.
So you think this film could have some imitations, or could inspire things in turn?
Absolutely. Whether it be something like it only with women now, which again it isn't entirely fresh, but Get Out isn't entirely fresh.
It's possible. I suppose I hadn't thought about it yet.
Well, we'll get cracking. I'm just trying to off the top of my head, especially using only America as a basis for comparison, because I don't know a fucking thing about the social setting here in Denmark. I would say maybe immigrants, whether it be some sort of
well, yeah, I suppose thinking back to something like Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that had something to do with the fear of communism at the time, as far as I can remember. So I suppose if there were social horrors in this day and age, they would probably revolve around some sort of political unrest or something of that nature. I don't know. I should really keep up with the news.
No, it's depressing. It's really depressing. Yeah. So, Invasion of Body Snatchers was, see, I feel like it's a hell of a lot more. The metaphors are, subtle. I don't know. I don't think the metaphors are really subtle at all. I'm
thinking about something else like Soylent Green. Would you call that a social horror?
Yes. It's people. So,
yep.
Spoiler for those who haven't seen Soylent Green.
My favorite is just the end when he's being carried off. We got to stop him somehow.
Charlton Heston, best actor of his time.
Sure.
I mean, Planet of the Apes. I can't picture anybody else delivering that line. However better an actor you can find, I just can't picture it any other way. Oh, so does the lack of metaphors trouble you, bother you, etc.?
If there were any metaphors, I don't think I picked up on them. Maybe the fact that Chris is a photographer and he has the eye is what sets him apart and makes him able to see what's been going on.
Oh,
like, maybe there's that. I don't know.
Look at you go right on the spot. That's nice. Yeah.
Well, it was something I thought about earlier, but I kept my mouth shut.
Looking smarter. Yeah, no, that's really good.
So I hadn't really thought about anything else.
Well, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is something like Invasion of Bias, something like Night of the Living Dead, kind of has some social stuff in there. I mean, especially by the end. But it's a bit more, I don't know, subdued. It's a story about zombies, but you get under the skin, and it's actually, there's other stuff going on where
I think it all comes down to this imbalance of power thing, and how much of a terror that can be to someone who is, statistically speaking, not in possession of that power. Someone who is a minority, be they a woman or, in terms of race or sexual preference or whatever it is. That's what these movies are playing on. So they have that in common.
Funny and Tuck fired. Funny and strange how he used the stereotypes in this movie. Hey, CP and Emily. Which stereotypes are referring? Do you know what stereotypes are being referred there?
Would this be the family gathering when people are talking about, Chris is, look how big and strong you are. Is it true what they say about black men? Those stereotypes?
Oh, right. Yeah. And the within the first couple of sentences, the father says that he loves Obama. He vote for him again if he could.
Yeah.
I mean,
that could be true, but there's no need to bring it up. Possibly.
Right. And
the father trying to adopt Chris's assumed vernacular, calling him, "Hey, my man, what's going on here? This thing that's going on."
Yeah. So it's a more modern version of what I guess some of the things that happen in Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which
I don't know if they play into that so much. In fact, I think one of my main problems I had with that film was that the main character, what was his name? Sidney Poitier's character.
They call me Mr. Tibbs.
Yes.
All right.
The thing with Mr. Tibbs is that they made him too perfect almost, so that the only thing that could possibly be objected to in this situation was nothing to do with his character.
Brilliant point. Why was he the best fucking black guy they found? Like, he was a doctor, he was the top of his class, a sweetheart. Why couldn't he, why couldn't he just be some dude who worked at a supermarket? And, good point.
I mean, they don't make anything about the age difference. It's all about the fact that they've only known each other 10 days and the fact that they are an interracial couple. So I don't know if they made him that perfect just because, or because they had to make him as white as possible.
Right.
I really don't know.
Right.
Say what you want about like Chris and his friend Rod in Get Out. They seem to be real people. They're not immaculate, spotless personalities, and they're not. I don't know. What word am I looking for?
I don't know.
Bugger.
Booger? That's the word you're looking for? No. Patrick says it would be like CP uses that terms around me, and I would just be looking at him. What term? What term did I say? Did I say a term?
I think we were talking about the language that Rose's father was using.
Oh, right. I hate the delay. I really do. Yeah, in the chat, we're about 20 seconds ahead of you. Right. So the there's a couple of things that we're talking about. Guess who's coming to dinner now? There's a couple of things that bother me about that. The fact that he's you almost, the fact that he's a doctor and he's the top of his class and he does all these great things, like the line is as close to the top as possible, where it's, you know, I really don't like that you're with a black guy, but if you're gonna have to pick one, at least you got, you know, the one. And I don't know that
I think this is what their housekeeper calls him out on at one point in a scene that is never mentioned or referenced again, when she has him alone in the room and is telling him off for pulling this I'm so immaculate routine.
Right. Well, I mean, the more I think about it, the more Mr. Tibbs's character is really, you know, not that there's not much about him.
No.
There's
not much about Joanne either. Joey.
Good. Well, she's just their daughter, and man, she went to Hawaii.
They're very nice characters, and I'm sure they're very much in love, but we don't know very much about them.
Right, but that the whole dead ex-wife and kid thing, like, either don't do it or explore it. Like, what the fuck? Speaking of red herring, it's such a wasted opportunity. Yeah.
What do you think about and I know we're still talking about Guess Who's Coming to Dinner now and not the film that the stream's about. I suppose when he confronts his father, saying that, you know, his father thinks of himself as a black man and he considers himself just a man. What did you think of that? In terms of the...
See, I would say bullshit, because if he thought of himself as just a man, he wouldn't think about, you know, not telling his parents that, or stressing about telling his parents that his wife is white. If he's just a man, none of that should be a problem. If he's just a man, he wouldn't worry about the things that he was setting up with her parents, their little agreement or whatever. So I call bullshit. It's a great line, but the character doesn't do anything to help me believe that he believes that.
And this is something they kind of skirt around in Get Out. I don't think much is made of the relationship at all. There's no discussion. The parents just are immediately very accepting and accommodating. Of course, we know better later on. But again, I don't think there's much made of that whole thing. For as much as Chris is concerned.
Oh, right. Well, it's Chris that's concerned, and Rose.
She has no reason to be concerned because reasons.
Right. Well, yeah. She's up
reasons that are, you know, on a few different levels.
Right. But
she knows why. She knows her parents are going to be fine with it, and she also knows why.
Right. Right. She's you know, playing both ends of the candle there. Or, you know, euphemism. Pick one. Burn the bridge before we get to it.
Yeah.
So yeah, like so that I don't think, I think that played perfectly, because, you know, he's like, you know, your parents are gonna, you know, you don't know that, you know, they're gonna have a hard time, and she's like, no, listen, everything's fine, and you know, she's we find out that she's being a bit of a fuckface, but yeah, she's right, because they 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 their intent is different, but they don't have a problem with him because he's black. They just have different motivation for him, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much, yeah. Sorry, you've gone a little blurry.
Have I? I've been drinking. Did you think that everything all right?
Yeah.
Oh, did you think that the jump scares were leaned on a bit too much?
To be honest, I can't remember the jump scares very well. I don't know if that's a good thing.
Okay.
When did one happen?
Well, the run. There's Georgina seemed to be it at every single time, where he was.
She does have the tendency to just be standing there all of a sudden.
And looking out the window, but she's actually looking at herself in the reflection.
Yeah, she's quite good at lurking, making sure the wig's in place, because, you know, that pesky thing.
And I don't know. I feel like it's just unnecessary. It's just so unnecessary. I mean, especially with there being unease about Georgina. It's one thing if you're going to play the white versus black thing, but
do you think it should have been more like a Stanley Kubrick type approach, more lingering shots, more I don't know, more long shots?
Good call. Yes. I didn't know I wanted Stanley Kubrick to direct that movie until you just said that. But yes. Yeah. A nice long tracking shot down a hallway. You know, we're already kind of uneasy about the white people, but then we slowly, you know, room 237, and there's Georgina unplugging the phone or something. That would be fucked up. Oh man, I just want to reshoot the film now.
I'm sure they'll remake it in 5 years' time. Like, you can just get in there real quick.
Yeah.
Maybe the jump scares were included to placate the majority of horror movie watcher goers, people, because it's what we expect these days. They have to put something in the trailer. So
right. So who would you say this movie's for? Because I don't think horror. I don't think it's for horror fans.
You don't? Well, you don't think it's a horror movie,
right? And that's my point, and I'm sticking to it. Man.
Okay.
I'm gonna be a spoiled brat about it. Well, yeah.
And if I disagree, you can just boot me off the stream.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Who would you say? I mean, if you think it's for a horror crowd, go ahead and say it. You're wrong, but go ahead and say it.
Well, I don't know. Like I said, they have to put something in the trailer, and the way trailers are made these days, it is very snappy. There are a lot of quick shots, a lot of fades to black.
Deer skeletons.
Like, when I saw the trailer for Life, that very much intrigued me because it was less a trailer than a scene taken wholesale from the film. So you could see it unfold quite slowly and the way it was meant to. I think that's a good approach. But who is this movie meant for?
That was the question.
Yes. I imagine people who enjoy horror movies are going to go and see it.
Sure.
Like they have done.
Oh, Horror Hellion's got a hell of a question. Thank you for contributing here. Any connection between her taking 3 sips of milk and the 3 spoon taps on the teacup, or am I getting too deep into it? I didn't even think about that, but fuck. If it's 3, it's intriguing.
Was she taking the sips of milk to wash down her cereal that she was eating? She seemed to be eating the cereal piece by piece. How many pieces of cereal did she pick up?
God damn, I wish we probably should have watched Get Out after,
just to refresh our memories.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. I really wish I had a specific knowledge of that milk thing. She ate.
I hadn't picked up on the. Sorry.
She ate a single Fruit Loop and then took 3 sips.
That is too much milk for just the one piece of cereal.
Fucking A.
I'm sorry. I've lived in houses where if you had any cereal left over from your, if you had any milk left over from your bowl of morning cereal, you would put it in your tea, like back when we were poor as fuck. Yeah.
I would drink.
Yeah, don't be wasting milk like that.
Oh, I would drink the pink and purple milk stained from the Fruit Loops or whatever.
What hell kind of cereal? What are Fruit Loops? They sound disgusting.
You sound disgusting. They're
just because it's true doesn't mean you have to say it.
They're puffed corn that's colored. Oh wait, hold on. Ow.
Wait, so do they taste like fruit or do they taste like fruit? Like, are they slightly sour? I can't imagine how they would possibly taste.
So these are Fruity Pebbles, which basically are the same thing. Their color, they have fruit taste to them, but they stain your milk. Your milk looks like a bloody fucking rainbow when you're done with them.
That sounds mahusively unappealing to me. Sorry.
Mahusive, Jesus, that's a word. And
I like the word mahusive, but I don't like the word chillax. I don't know why.
I don't have the definition. The definition of mahusive.
Definition's a good word. CP's glossary of terms out October.
She ate a single Fruit Loop in like 3 bites. Oh,
yeah, because they're Cheerio sized, so that's just way too much milk, I think. There's something about people who really, really like their dairy that creeps me out.
So the connection between the milk and the tea.
I hadn't picked up on the spoon taps. I was aware of the scraping noise.
Really? The one thing I got was the tip. That's what I thought.
I got the scrapey that was meant to put him in the sunken place because I don't know, it kind of, it was a slightly aggravating noise.
Again, she got a little refresher. I think that the tap is what like set him in, or maybe the tap was what like locked him, and then the scraping was what put him in. And the 3 sips of milk is just for good measure. Horror hellion, god damn it, that's a hell.
That is a hellion of a question.
Yeah, I would imagine there's. I can't say with anything close to certainty because I don't remember specifically how that scene played out, especially when the Cheerio scene in question. Yes, fuck. If you're watching this, come back in the future. I'll throw text on the bottom of the screen that if you're not watching this on Tuesday the 25th, maybe a couple of days later, I'll put something on the bottom that confirms or denies
or explain everything.
Right, or has some sort of theory, or maybe we'll cut away to something right now. And man, so good to hear from you in the future. But yeah, I really wish I had more knowledge of that because it makes me appreciate the movie stuff like that, because you could tell there's for as much as I grind on it, it's a pretty smart movie.
Oh, I've just thought of something. What did you think of the when the father invites them in and talks about his deep distaste for and hatred towards deer? how he wishes he could expunge them all from the face of the earth. Was that not a terrific bit of foreshadowing? Or at least, do you think that was put in there to create unease? Or because I don't know if it ever comes up. I think he takes the deer's head from the wall and starts stabbing people with it towards the end to make his escape. Chris, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So what's with the deer thing?
I was just going to ask you that, because they hit a deer.
Mm-hmm.
That causes the whole cop thing. And I mean, there's got to be something more to it now, especially like why have that in the trailer? There's
Was there originally a demonic deer in the film, but they had to, like, it didn't test well? I don't know.
Right. So I definitely think there's some. I mean, I talked about there not really being very heavy metaphors, but it certainly feels like there's something going on with the deer. What the fact that we hunt deer, hunted, being hunted. I'm really reaching.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty much what's happening to Chris.
But yeah, the foreshadowing. You didn't take his dialogue. You just the irony of him speaking about the deer is what you're saying. Oh, what happened?
I don't know where I was going with that. I'm sorry.
Well, you could expunge on it if you'd like.
Expunge. What does that mean?
I don't know. Let me make sure I'm saying the right word. Just go ahead and talk while I look up what expunge means. Tell us about your review. Go ahead. That's
the review I did. Well, technically Braggett did it, so it was as beamingly positive as it could possibly have been. Like I said, a few days after I'd seen the film and the excitement had died down, I began to notice plot holes. And
who's Braggett?
Oh, Braggett is one of the alter egos that I have employed on my channel.
Okay.
The other being Killjoy. And there's Bernard the Skull, who just kind of sits there and gives advice. I should get rid of him.
Why?
He's not pulling his weight.
Yeah, so I was completely wrong in my use of the word expunge. Expunge means to erase or remove completely.
Oh, I used it a minute ago. How did I not remember?
And I meant to
You meant expound, didn't you? They're very similar words. It's okay.
I meant an exp word.
If you'd just like to explode on what you were talking about before.
If you'd like to experience further, by all means. I'm sorry. You were speaking about your review.
So yeah, I mainly focused on what got me excited about the film, and I suppose it was new. It stood out as trying harder than something like, say, The Bye-Bye Man, which I haven't been to see because who can be asked?
I've heard it's terrible.
Terrible. I could tell it was terrible from the trailer, from the name, The Bye-Bye Man. It doesn't strike fear into the hearts of men, does it?
Go watch Candyman.
I have. That was different.
Then Bye-Bye Man is unnecessary. Unnecessary. Or at least that's from what I understand. It's the same fucking premise.
It's a creepypasta, basically. It's paper thin. It does not need to exist. It is some sort of entity that we're supposed to be afraid of. That's pretty much a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy of things we've seen done better hundreds of times before.
7 days. That was a Ring. The Ring is kind of similar too, but done better, done way better. I was going to throw words together and spit them out.
Again, I was impressed by how much it reminded me of the Stepford Wives, and how much it recreated that whole vibe. So,
you brought up Rosemary's Baby before too. Do you have a connection to that? Do you know what?
I think again, it's the sense of paranoia that there's something happening beyond your control, and you're in a position where you can't argue, you can't even raise your suspicions.
Oh.
And that the most terrifying thing is other people, basically. Of course, in Get Out, they take it a step for, well, I mean, Rosemary's Baby, you know, devil baby. It's kind of unrealistic, but the people she surrounds herself with, they could feasibly exist. Like, it's not outside the realms of possibility that your unborn child could be taken hostage by a bunch of cultists.
Have you seen They Live?
No. What's that about?
How do I explain They Live without just destroying it for you? John Carpenter film. I'll start with that.
Oh, good. I don't think he's done a bad one, has he? John Carpenter. Yeah, he's done more good than bad.
Okay, I'll accept that phrase better.
Thank you.
You could expunge. Shit cake. What was I saying? Oh, They Live. So it's about a guy who comes across these glasses, and he puts them on because fucking, glasses, free glasses. Who wants, free sunglasses? And he finds out that there are these special glasses that expose.
Can see the dead?
Nope.
No.
They expose what's really going on in the world, and we're being occupied by people, and the glasses expose everything. So put it on the list. Put it on the list, and I'll watch it with you. It's
all right.
I can't do it justice without ruining something.
So do I see this before or after Return of the Jedi? Where is it? We'll sort this out later.
Yeah, you've seen Empire, so I mean, you can kind of pump the brakes on. I mean, Jedi. I don't know. I don't know. Horror Hellion says must watch, and Patrick Holmes says They Live is an awesome film. So I have help in my suggestion.
I will definitely watch it.
So whether or not, I don't even think you managed to say what you thought Get Out was, what type of genre it was. Without making you answer that question, how do you think it fits, or where do you think it fits in modern horror?
Does it have to fit?
Fucking no.
I wouldn't mind the occasional outlier from the swathes of Bye Men and whatever the hell. There's going to be about 5 more Annabelles in a few years. Mark my words. Consider
them marked.
Something. I think if anything, films are getting more and more jump scare heavy, and if we have a few films that try to break away from that, or at least have a more high concept premise, then I would welcome that. And if they don't fit, then maybe they don't have to.
Yeah. I felt like 16 was a strong year for. I mean, I'm not a very deep diver as far as horror is concerned. I enjoy mainstream horror. I'll if something gets enough buzz, I'll go check it out. I'm not a super enthusiast for horror. Like I said, the bigger stuff or stuff that's getting a lot of publicity, I'll look into.
Yeah.
However ignorant that may seem, that's just my deal. 16 was like Green Room. You probably haven't seen that.
No, sorry.
Green Room is a fish out of water story that really isn't a horror movie, but I would lump it in.
Mm-hmm.
I would lump it in. So all right, so that's where I was going. I would put Get Out and Green Room in some sort of new category of man, that's fucked up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the genre. Man, that's fucked up. So there's this punk rock band. They're playing at a Nazi facility.
Oh, I've heard of this now. Yeah.
A skinhead facility of
Mm-hmm.
people that hate. It's just music for hate.
Mm-hmm.
And they just happen to play music, but
Things
you know,
escalate.
they finish their set and somebody gets murdered in the green room.
Mm-hmm.
Title card.
And there is going to be an actor in it whose name escapes me for the moment, but I was very excited.
He's dead.
What?
Are you talking about Anton Yelchin
No.
or Patrick Stewart?
That could have been it. I don't remember.
I'm trying to think. Imogen
I mean,
Poots?
Patrick Stewart, I haven't seen him in very many villainous roles, so that's probably what got me excited.
Oh, are you a fan of Blue Ruin?
Is what, sorry?
Blue Ruin?
Not heard of it.
Jeremy Saulnier was the director.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've run out of actors. If it's not Anton Yelchin, Imogen Poots, or Patrick Stewart, I don't know what the fuck.
No, it must be Patrick Stewart.
Right. So
because I'm sure there's another recent film that had an actor in it that got me excited, and I must have been confusing them. But yeah.
Right. So they witness a murder in the green room,
and basically they're not leaving the room.
Right, but there's a bit of false pretense.
Okay.
And they're led to believe that the cops are being called to sort things out, and well, things happen.
And they have 45 minutes to find out who did it.
1 + 2 + 2 + 1. That's not 6. AMG Tuck Fired says very much a social commentary film as well. What are we talking about?
I suppose I would group Get Out along with something like The Babadook, which again had a fairly
well, that's more mental health, no?
Well, it's about mental health and grief, and I think that was the main thing, wasn't it? Dealing with grief and declining insanity and the feelings you have towards your child who you don't like very much. I don't know. It had themes, is what I'm saying, and not just a supernatural slasher killer.
Right. Well, I guess the point is, I don't know if there's not a category for this stuff. Maybe there should be. Like no, yes.
What was your category that you put it in?
Man, that's fucked up.
Oh yeah, I knew there was a fuck in there somewhere.
There's always got to be a fuck in there. Yeah. So Babadook, I would say is of the man that's fucked up for different reasons. It could be a strain off the main mabobber there, but yeah. All right. So there's that. All right. So now we have 3 movies in this brand new category.
Get Anyone in the chat got any ideas?
Yeah.
Any more contenders?
Right. See, if I prepared myself, I could have probably, again, in the future, I'll probably have something on the bottom here.
We are so professional.
Yeah. So, anything else about the film you'd like to talk about, or any influences, or horror as a whole, or Get Out's influence on horror or thrillers or movies or America or race?
I think it's a good film. I think it will be interesting to see what Jordan Peele comes up with next, because I think his background is in comedy and not horror so much.
Absolutely.
But he reckons that the genres are fairly similar in that they are meant to provoke a response, and they're both about timing and pacing and all those things you like.
Yes.
So
Right. And what's funny, I would always equate horror and comedy as things that get stale. Something that worked for a specific reason at a certain time won't.
yeah.
Like jump scares in the 80s worked, and they worked as a certain formula. It wasn't just have somebody walking down a hallway and then poof, there's something in the window. The jump scares in 80s horror would be something that was like established. You're in a room and you're looking for something, and you open the drawer and something's missing. Then the jump scare is the thing that's missing pops up.
The construction is slightly different.
Yes.
But I would say that they're still effective in that if you watch an 80s movie today, it would still be effective. Whereas I think you meant the more you watch a film, the less impact those scares have because you know them.
Right. And the same thing for comedy too. You could laugh a couple of times, but it may not work. You've heard the joke. It's
And again, what is considered funny and or scary even 20 years ago can just not translate, to modern audiences.
Well, and plus, certain things just they get copied and replicated, and so it gets saturated. And I mean, especially horror. So he's certainly right in a lot of ways, but that doesn't mean that. I'm intrigued because I think he wrote Keanu too, which was cute.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll be interested to see what he does in future. As for horror as a whole, I don't think it's really going to change much. I think these same old spooky movies are still very lucrative. So that is a trend that's not going away so quickly. But I'm glad that there are films like this out there. Just for a change,
sure. Oh yeah, absolutely. He's AMG Tuck Fired said that They Live was a social commentary. Do you expect anything from the actors? See, I don't know the lead. I know the female.
I've seen him before in Chat Room. I thought he was very good at that. He's a British actor, but you wouldn't have guessed really from watching Get Out that he was. I think Rose's actress too might have been. I don't really. I haven't seen her in much else. But...
She is in Girls, which is a HBO show.
And I think the woman who played Missy is in something or other, Hannibal or Penny Dreadful or one of these. I really can't remember.
Well then. Jordan Peele is a new Predator. Jordan Peele is in the new Predator movie. I'm curious how he's going to act in a horror movie.
That'll be interesting.
I'm of the belief that a really good comedian can pull off certain elements of drama and etc. really well. And Jordan Peele, I think it'll be interesting with the right direction, at least, as long as he doesn't. I mean, Predator. I'm intrigued, but with the right tutelage, I think Shane Black's actually writing that and or directing that. So it'll be quite interesting to see that combination. But yeah,
I think that's all I had to say about the movie. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
If you have anything left in the chat, we're just about ready to wrap up. Unless, of course, you have something to say in the chat, and then we can talk about. Unless, of course, you have something that we don't remember, like the 3 sips of milk. Because fuck, I really wish I had extensive knowledge of that scene, because it'd be interesting to No, at least when I go back and watch it, I'm certainly going to do that. Comedians lately have been making the switch to horror since comedies are few and far between these days. Well, good ones are, at least.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. It's been a long time since I've seen a good new comedy movie, unfortunately.
And what would you say the last good comedy movie was?
I can't remember.
That good, huh? I'm trying to think. Oh, a Pop Star last year I thought was just fucking priceless. If you like, have you seen Spinal Tap?
Yeah, that was about a couple of decades ago, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. The movie itself is 30 plus years old. But Pop Star, I would argue is Spinal Tap for hip hop or pop stars.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah, but where Spinal Tap has a bit of a, I want to call it a bit of British humor, but it's not. It's not. It's what's his face, who just happens to what the fuck is his name? No, these go to 11. What's his name? Come on, he's from your country.
I don't know. I can't remember.
Yeah. Pop Star was great. Yes, it was. Yeah. So I don't know what my point was, but yeah, Spinal Tap really good. Pop Star, a modern version. Have you thought of the most recent comedy? It doesn't have to be the last one. A fairly recent comedy that you enjoyed?
I've been racking my brains. I mean, the last thing I saw that surprisingly made me laugh was one of the Ice Age movies. I can't remember, honestly. If I remember, I guess I'll put it in the description or something.
Yeah. Yeah. There's gonna be more postscript on this video than anything. Yeah, Horror Hellion, please check back. I guess what I'll do is I'll take the video down when I edit it and then put it back up when it's on, because I really am intrigued. I'd like to go back and check it and talk about it. Emily, what do you have coming up on your channel?
The next thing I'm planning to review is A Nightmare on Elm Street 2, which I have not seen, so I'm very, very excited for that.
You're in for a movie. You're in for a treat. It's Freddy at his nastiest, I would say.
Yes, I've been told, or I've picked up from somewhere.
And speaking of subtext, there's
quite a bit, I've been told. Yeah. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. And you just uploaded what, Critters 2? So you reviewed that, and then obviously
another sequel.
What?
I said another movie, another sequel.
Oh yeah, you pounded out the 2s. Is that what's going on? You're just getting all the 2s out of there?
Yeah, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do for Year of YouTube. I'm thinking either Marble Hornets or something called Unedited Footage of a Bear.
Okay, so explain Year of YouTube to people that are on my channel that perhaps don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Sorry, it's looking at creepy online content, short horror films or weird advertisements or just one-off internet oddities. Just looking at those, pretty much.
Like you do. And you just look at it. You have a commentary.
Yeah, we talk about it, make jokes, show tiny portions that definitely come under fair use. Yeah.
Well, yeah. All right.
Sort of thing.
Right. And any last words?
No, just this has been fun. I hope everybody was entertained sufficiently.
Yeah. So you have a scoring system for your channel. It's out of 10. It's jam sandwiches. And what was your score for Get Out? Do you remember?
I gave it around a 7 or 8, I think.
And that's pretty good. Okay.
What would you have given it?
Well, I don't like jam sandwiches, so 10 of them is just ugh, I can't even fathom the thought. No,
Peanut butter and jam? Or jelly. Sorry, excuse me.
yeah, yeah, I just plain toast, toast with butter.
Okay.
I'd probably as we sit, I'd say 8 out of 10.
Hmm.
I'm a little perturbed at some things that don't add up,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm actually really dying to go back and check it out. Just if only for the milk. I'm dead serious. I'm dying to check that milk scene out.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, guys, you've got to watch the milk scene.
the Cheerio followed by the 3 drops.
Genius.
Yeah, I like stuff like that.
Hmm.
Usually when I watch a movie, the first time I'm taking in the story more than anything.
Yeah.
And then if it's good enough, I go back and then I really focus on the
Hmm.
deep shit because my brain's just too soft and squishy to comprehend
Mm-hmm.
multiple things at the same time. Yeah, Emily, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
We'll probably see you again rather soon.
Mm-hmm.
Her channel is Emily's Adventures in Horrorland. You'll see if you're somehow watching this before May 1st, 2nd, she will be joining us on the Scream Stream on Tuesday, May 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
So catch that. And if it's the future, go check the May 2nd issue of Scream Stream and watch us speak in the past. Say goodbye, Emily.
Goodbye.